So we are again here with the same chapter, that is Is Matter Around Us Pure? So till the last lecture, we had discussed about various separation technique. We had discussed the separation of dye. We had discussed the separation of two miscible liquids, then two immiscible liquids, and many more. Now, today we are here to just deal with the topic purification of drinking water. So this topic is very much interesting because we have to know, and we are supposed to know this, because purification of water is very, very, very necessary. Nowadays, we are watching the COVID situation. That is, the growth of virus is so much. The thing is, we use dirty things. We use the unpurified water, the spoiled food, the fast food, and so many things. Even the air is also polluted. And that is the thing that we have to read this topic so that we know the method of purification of water, because water is a vital part of our body and we need water on our daily basis. So since हमें जीने के लिए ही पानी चाहिए, और अगर पानी चाहिए तो पानी हमको प्योर चाहिए, बिकॉज आपने ऑलरेडी देखा हुआ है कि अगर हम इम्प्योरिफाइड वाटर लेते हैं या डर्टी वाटर लेते हैं या स्पॉइल्ड वाटर लेते हैं तो क्या होता है, उससे तरह तरह की बीमारियां, तरह तरह के डिजीज इन्वायरमेंट में आ जाते हैं. तो हमें जानना चाहिए कि कैसे वाटर को प्योरीफाई किया जाता है. तो दिस इज द टेक्निक विच अ स्टेट, विच अ सिटी यूज टू सप्लाई वाटर. अब तुम लोग सोचोगे कि घर पे जो वाटर यूज करते हैं उसमें हम ये मेथड अप्लाई करते हैं कि नहीं. दिस इज एक्चुअली डन ऑन अ लार्ज स्केल. सो अगर हम ये चीज अपने, जैसे अगर हम किसी डैम से वाटर आ रहा है, फिर वो वाटर सब घरों में सप्लाई होता है, तो वो सप्लाई वाटर के लिए हम ये प्योरिफिकेशन मेथड यूज करते हैं. अदरवाइज वी ऑलरेडी नो कि घर पे अगर हमको वाटर प्योरीफाई करना होता है तो हम क्या करते हैं, वी जस्ट यूज कैंट, एक्वागार्ड, and many more water purifier are there. So we can use any of them. But अगर हमको सिटी सप्लाई करना है या अगर हमारा स्टेट है, अगर तो हमारा गवर्नमेंट कैसे सप्लाई करता है वाटर को इन आवर होम्स, तो दिस इज द वे फॉर द प्योरिफिकेशन ऑफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर ऑन अ लार्ज स्केल. So you can see a very beautiful diagram. In this diagram, I had made 4 chambers. Each chamber has its own role. Very first step is to collect the water. So the first you can see here is reservoir. So what we do, सीधे आप जाके जो भी हमारा वाटर सोर्स है, जैसे अगर रिवर है या डैम है, तो हम डायरेक्ट रिवर में तो जाके मोटर फिट नहीं कर सकते हैं, या रिवर में जाके तो कोई चीज ऐड नहीं कर सकते वाटर को प्योरीफाई करने के लिए. तो सबसे पहला काम हमारा होता है कि हम पानी को रिवर से या जो भी वाटर रिसोर्स है हमारा, उससे कलेक्ट करें एक चैम्बर में. तो द फर्स्ट टास्क इज टू मेक अ रिजर्वॉयर. सो वी जस्ट कलेक्ट ऑल द वाटर, वी जस्ट कलेक्ट द रिक्विसाइड अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर इन दिस रिजर्वॉयर. एक लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर हमने यहाँ पे स्टोर कर लिया. देन दिस वाटर इज सपोज टू गो टू द नेक्स्ट चैम्बर विच इज कॉल्ड एज सेडिमेंटेशन टैंक. Now what we do in the sedimentation tank? In the sedimentation tank, water is left for 2 to 3 hours, and in these hours what will happen? All the suspended solids like sand, dust, some gravel should be there. So all these particles get settled down. So here we can write it is the suspended particle. So in the sedimentation tank, the suspended particle settle at the bottom of the container. Now after 2 or 3 hours, these water is supposed to supply, or these water is supposed to go to the next chamber, next tank, which is called as loading tank. In this loading tank, what we do, we add alum. And alum has a property to just coagulate the suspended impurities. So the solid impurities get separated in the sedimentation tank, and all the suspended impurities that get coagulated with the help of alum in the loading tank. So here these dots are actually the suspended, here you write solid particle, and here it is suspended particle. Now, in this chamber also, we left the water for 2 to 3 hours. Then it is supposed to go to the next tank, which is actually the filtration tank. You can see the arrangement of filtration tank. At the bottom layer, we have taken coarse gravel. Just above that, we have taken the gravel, then fine sand, and at last the water is present. Do you remember in class 6 or 5, you have read about this pot-like situation? In the first pot, we take some water, then in the second pot, we take gravel, in the third pot, we take sand, and then we purify the water. Similarly, the arrangement is made in this filtration tank. At the bottom layer, coarse gravel is there, means somewhat bigger particle of gravel. Above that, gravel is there, and at the top, sand is there. When we add water, when the water goes to this, you can see here, the pipe is at the bottom surface. So the water is supposed to go to the bottom surface. Then it move upward. So it get filtrated with these 3 layers. And here we get the filtered water. So till the filtration tank, we had observed that the solid particles get sedimented, the suspended particles get settled out at the bottom, and in the filtration tank, the water gets filtered. Now this filtered water is supposed to go to another tank, which is called as chlorination tank. Now in this chlorination tank, we add chlorine. Now the chlorine has a property to kill the germs and the bacteria and the microorganisms. So since the water is filtered now, we have to just kill the microorganisms or the germs present in that water. So what will happen? In this chlorination tank, all the germs and microorganisms gets killed. And then this water is now fit for drinking. This is now potable water. So this water goes to the taps by the pipelines. So this is the complete process of purification of drinking water. सबसे पहले हमने एक रिजर्वायर में कलेक्ट किया वाटर को, फिर उसको हमने एक दूसरे टैंक में सेंड किया. दूसरे टैंक में जब हम भेजते हैं उस टैंक को हम बोलते हैं सेडिमेंटेशन टैंक. सेडिमेंटेशन टैंक में क्या होगा, जितना भी सॉलिड पार्टिकल है, डस्ट है, सैंड है या कुछ ग्रेवल है, कुछ कंकड़ पत्थर अगर है, वो सारा नीचे बॉटम में सेटल हो जाएगा. फिर 2-3 घंटा पानी उस चैम्बर में छोड़ने के बाद हम उसको दूसरे चैम्बर में सेंड करेंगे. जैसे ही वो दूसरे चैम्बर में गया, वहां हम एलम ऐड करते हैं. एलम इज एक्चुअली फिटकिरी. इट हैज एंटीसेप्टिक प्रॉपर्टी ऑल्सो, ऑलरेडी यू नो. तो वी एड एलम. अब हमने एलम ऐड किया तो एलम की एक और खास प्रॉपर्टी होती है कि जितना भी सस्पेंडेड पार्टिकल है, सस्पेंडेड पार्टिकल का मतलब होता है वो पार्टिकल जो सेटल डाउन नहीं किया है, जो है तो पर वो दिख नहीं रहा है. अगर हम उसको देखेंगे बहुत माइन्यूटली तो वो विजिबल जरूर होगा लेकिन वो सेटल नहीं करेगा. तो एलम की ये प्रॉपर्टी होती है कि सारे सस्पेंडेड पार्टिकल को वो अपने अंदर एब्जॉर्ब कर ले, तो वो उसको एब्जॉर्ब कर लेता है. फिर हमने वाटर को नेक्स्ट टैंक में भेजा जो कि हमारा फिल्ट्रेशन टैंक है. फिल्ट्रेशन टैंक में देखो लेयर लगा हुआ है ग्रेवल का, सैंड का. तो इस लेयर के थ्रू जब वाटर पास आउट होता है तो ऑटोमेटिक वाटर जो होता है हमारा फिल्टर्ड हो जाता है. तो हमने यहाँ देखा कि सॉलिड तो हमारा पहले ही रिमूव हो गया, सस्पेंडेड पार्टिकल भी रिमूव हो गया, वाटर फिल्टर्ड भी हो गया. लेकिन इट मे बी पॉसिबल कि उसमें कुछ ना कुछ माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स रह गए हों. तो उस माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स के रिमूवल के लिए हम उसको एक और चैम्बर में भेजते हैं, एक और टैंक में भेजते हैं जिसको हम बोलते हैं क्लोरीनेशन टैंक, जिसमें हम उसमें क्लोरीन ऐड कर देते हैं. क्लोरीन की ये प्रॉपर्टी होती है कि दे किल द जर्म्स एंड बैक्टीरियाज. सो वहां पे बैक्टीरियाज वगैरह भी हमारे किल हो गए. देन पाइपलाइंस के थ्रू वो सारे घरों में चले जाते हैं और पानी की सप्लाई होती है. हियर वन थिंग यू हैव टू रिमेम्बर chlorination is done with the help of either chlorine tablet or with the help of bleaching powder. Now the bleaching powder is having the formula CaOCl2, calcium oxychloride. So this is CaOCl2. घरों में भी जहां भी वाटर रिसोर्स होता है हम वहां ब्लीचिंग पाउडर डालते हैं. रीजन क्या है? बिकॉज ब्लीचिंग प्रॉपर्टी में क्लोरीन है और उस क्लोरीन की ये प्रॉपर्टी होती है कि वो जर्म्स को किल करता है. तो दिस इज अबाउट द क्लोरीनेशन टाइम. So this is the complete process of filtration of water or purification of drinking water. But again, you have to remember, we are not going to perform this in our home or on a small scale. This can be done only on the large scale. So for the city supply, we use this method to purify the drinking water. Now let's have a look on the steps of these. Already you understood, but let's have a look on the steps separately. So here are the 5 steps of purification of drinking water. So very first step is reservoir. That the water is collected in the reservoir. A very big tank is there and water gets collected in it. Now the second step is sedimentation tank. Here water is allowed to stand for some time. Suspended solids settle down at the bottom of the tank. So already I discussed that water is allowed to stand there for 2 to 3 hours and all the solid that is suspended in it gets settled down at the bottom. Now the third one is loading tank. Now in this loading tank, alum is added. Already I discussed that alum has this property to coagulate, to accumulate all the suspended and colloidal particle. So in this loading tank, the suspended and colloidal particle settle down at the bottom. Next is filtration tank. It contains coarse gravel at the bottom, fine gravel above coarse gravel, and then thick layer of fine sand is there. And when the water rises up, it gets filtered in this filtration tank. And the last one is chlorination tank, where Cl is added to kill the bacteria. So these are the 5 steps to purify the drinking water. Now after the chlorination, the water is fit for drinking and it is supplied to the homes. So this is the one of the separation technique which we have to study according to our NCERT syllabus. Now we are only left with the last topic of this chapter, that is physical and chemical change. So let's have a look on these changes. So let's see the physical and chemical change. This is not a new topic for you students because already in your previous classes you have learned about this physical and chemical change. But here I have given some important points regarding the physical and chemical changes. So let's have a look on the physical changes first. So those changes in which only the physical property of a substance change but no new substance is formed is called as physical change. So here we get 2 points. First is only there is change in the physical properties during the physical change. Second is no new substance is formed in a physical change. Here one more point is given, that is this physical change is temporary and reversible in nature. So these changes are not permanent, they are temporary. In contrast of that, the chemical changes are those changes in which new substances are formed or there is change in the chemical properties or the chemical composition of a substance. Here it is a permanent and irreversible in nature. One more point is here, there is a change in the chemical composition of a substance. Generally, the question come in your exam as differentiate between physical and chemical change. So here are the difference also. In the physical change, the first point you can write, no new substances are formed. In the chemical change, we can write new substances are formed. Second point we take as there is only change in the physical properties during a physical change but during a chemical change, there is change in chemical composition of a substance. The third point of difference can be physical changes are temporary while the chemical changes are permanent. And the fourth point of difference can be these physical changes are reversible in nature while the chemical changes are irreversible in nature. So these are the physical and chemical changes. Now I am giving you some of the very important and very interesting example of physical and chemical changes and how you can recognize that these changes are physical or chemical. So here are some of the examples of physical and chemical changes. Now student, just test your knowledge that how many of these are physical change and how many of these are chemical change. So let's have a look on the first example. The first example of melting of ice. Now think about it. Melting of ice is what? A chemical change or a physical change? So definitely your answer should be it is a physical change, because we are not changing the chemical composition of water. Whether it is water or it is ice, the chemical composition of both is same. That's why it is a physical change. One more explanation you can give that this is a reversible process. We can freeze the water to make it ice. We can melt the ice to get water back. So since it is temporary, it is reversible, that's why it is considered as a physical change. Now the second one is preparing a solution. Now if I provide you some amount of water and sugar and I told you to make a solution, then what will happen? The sugar solution that you make, that have the same property that is of sugar and water. So that solution is also not a new substance. So definitely it is also a physical change. Now the next one is burning of a paper. Students, think about a condition. You have taken a paper, you just burnt it. You get an ash of that paper. Would it be possible that you get the paper back? Definitely your answer is no. So since this change is permanent, this change is irreversible, that's why we considered it as chemical change. Now, the next one is rusting of iron. So iron get rusted when iron react with the atmosphere and the air to form iron oxide. So the iron oxide has very different properties from the iron, and these are two different substances. So rusting of iron is considered as a chemical change because first of all a new substance is formed. Secondly, it is an irreversible change because this iron cannot be made as the earlier one. So it is also considered as a chemical change. Now the next one is tearing of a paper. If you tear some paper, then what will happen? The property of paper remain as it is. Since the properties of paper remain as it is, and it is the paper itself by tearing also. That's why it is considered as a physical change, because the piece of paper or a paper sheet is not different in the property. Now, cooking of food. If you take some raw food, if you take some vegetable, if you cook it, then you can observe that there is some changes in that. And definitely that cannot be reversed. So since it is irreversible, that's why it is considered as a chemical change. So it is a chemical change. Now, the next one is ripening of fruit. So same theory you can apply here also. Since if a fruit gets ripened, it cannot be brought back. So this ripening of fruit is an irreversible change. That's why it is considered as a chemical change. Now electrolysis of water. So if electricity is supplied to water, it gets converted into its ion. This is called as electrolysis. Means breaking of ions with the help of electricity is called as electrolysis. So if water get electrolyzed, it get converted into hydrogen and oxygen. And this hydrogen and oxygen has very different property from that of the water. That's why this electrolysis of water is also considered as a chemical change. Now we are having the next, that is burning of coal. So students, just think about it again. If you burn some coal, would it be possible that we get the coal back? Definitely your answer is no, ma'am. So this burning of coal is also one of the example of chemical change because this is irreversible change. So it is a chemical change. Now the last one which I have taken is stretching of a rubber band. So if you are having a rubber band, you can apply force, it gets stretched. When we just remove the force, it gets back to its original position. So it is reversible. And one more thing, stretched rubber or unstretched rubber both have the same property. So there is no any chemical composition change. So this is also considered as a physical change. So students, here I have taken 10 different examples from our day-to-day life and classify it in physical and chemical change. This is a very important aspect because from this section only 2 questions can be asked in your exam. The very first is differentiate between physical and chemical change, and the other is exemplify or just classify the following changes into physical and chemical. There is a question in your NCERT exercise also regarding this classification. So hope you all understood it very well. If you have any query, any doubt, you can ask in the comment box. We had just end this chapter. Now from the next lecture, we'll move to the next chapter of class 9, that is chapter 3, atoms and molecules. Thank you.